He signed Brian Danielson. He came in, and Brian Danielson pretty much basically said that he wanted to wrestle the top guy. He wanted to test his skills against Kenny Omega, right?
Yeah.
So he pretty much with those two, man, those two stars coming in, a lot of people was looking at them as a serious threat to the WWE and pretty much could take over. So I'm just like, what do you think they're going wrong, man? As far as this CM Punk thing, the CM Punk
you got
deal.
to think, man. You got a bunch of guys that are in the wrestling business that's never been bookers, and then you got a guy that has the money that takes the advice from these so-called non-experienced bookers.
Right.
So they coming up with ideas off the top of their head that they might have been holding on for years of what they would have done if they was in certain positions.
Yeah.
And it might have worked in their mind, but in actuality, it doesn't work. But
yeah,
you got a guy that's holding the money. He don't know no better. So he's like, oh, this will work great. Yeah, let's do this.
Right.
And it's not clicking, man. So they really need to get some people in there with some experience at that position,
right?
Of bookers, and really just get some experience, man. That's it. You just gotta get some experience. Yeah. Some people know what the heck they doing, man. But
oh yeah, well, I mean, last time we was talking, and when we had this me, you, and Michael, we had a meeting a couple days ago. We sat down and talked. Pretty much talking about I'm sorry, man. That's the problem.
Golly, man. What?
Yeah. But me, you, and Michael sitting down talking. Having a conversation, and we basically, I was talking about some of the problems that I see in AEW, but I didn't actually go over everything that I see. But man, I pretty much, this is some that pretty much bother me about them. But I've already spoke to you about. I think AEW is too choreographed in some instances, not all instances. You could pretty much see a lot of problems as far as the things that's choreographed. I think Jungle Boy, all his matches are very choreographed. The Young Bucks choreographed, not all the time with the Young Bucks, is when they wrestle against inexperienced guys. Maybe like when they go against Jungle Boy, it's like they slow down with the things that they're gonna do. Oh, okay. Brian Danielson, man. Brian Danielson, his moveset, it just, I don't see a lot with his moveset. So I'm just wondering how far can he actually go now. He can be a champion in AEW, but him, as far as him with in a series of matches or a few with Kenny Omega, I think that thing needs to wait. And I think Brian Danielson needs to go ahead and prove himself and beat a lot of the lower competition in AEW. Right now, with Miro losing that title to who did he lose the title to?
Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, he lost that title to Sammy Guevara. I'd like to see some kind of thing where it builds up between Brian Danielson and
Excuse me one moment, man. Excuse me one moment.
All right, man. No problem. No problem at all. All right, but as Chris takes that break, Brian Danielson, like I said, I only think he has a few. As far as his move set is kind of small, but he's a great wrestler. We know that. He's very intense, and that means a lot in the world of wrestling today. And Brian Danielson, I think he should go back and wrestle some of the guys that's on the lower card and build himself up, and then maybe get into a feud with Miro or somebody like that, man. And then, like say, bump himself up back to where he's gonna be taking on CM Punk. And because Kenny Omega right now, man, he's basically Ric Flair in AEW, but he doesn't have a Sting. He doesn't have a Ricky Steamboat. He don't have a Lex Luger. He don't have a Dusty Rhodes. He doesn't have a Big Van Vader. He doesn't have a Barry Windham. He doesn't have those type of guys to feud with. So,
well, you got to think there's nobody out there right now that is on that caliber, man.
No, there's not. No, it's not.
So how you gonna have that and you ain't got nobody on your level?
Well, you're not gonna have that, Chris, if you don't build up anybody to be on that kind of level. You understand what I'm saying? And man, they have guys that they can build up. That not lizard man, but Luchasaurus. Turn that guy into a heel, man, and build him up like he's a Lex Luger type guy. You know, build this guy up to where he's a big turn. What's his name's already Lance Archer. He's already a heel. Lance Archer could be like a John Studd. You know, build these guys up, man. Let Lance Archer just destroy everybody until he gets to Kenny Omega. You know, and Luchasaurus, like I say, build him up as a Lex Luger, man. As far as as far as somebody in the caliber of Sting, there's guys there, man, that can actually do it. I mean, if you take somebody like a Dante Martin, build him up, man, for a year or so. I mean, just really build him up and let his body get right. He could be like a Sting. Go after Kenny Omega. You saw what he done when he went against Omega and Young Bucks before. That time they was in that three-way, six-way tag team match. Remember how he lasted in there? And he showed against Kenny Omega. Build him up. You got yourself somebody like Sting. I mean, you know, it's so much, man, of they have so much prospects and they whether they can build people up. They're just not doing it, man. And I'm sorry, CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, man, they're not going to draw in the casual fans. And that's one thing they was talking about last night. They said Tony Khan, that's what Disco Inferno and Conan and all them and some others was talking about. Tony Khan was thinking this right here was going to bring in the fans over it that stopped watching WWE, and it was going to bring in the casual fans, the fans from yesteryear. It was going to bring them back, but it hasn't done that. It hasn't done that. So, I don't. And plus, like I say, they don't just have CM Punk. They got Bryan Danielson.
Scott Larson said, take Powerhouse Hobbs and build him up.
Yes, I agree. Build Powerhouse Hobbs up. I thought about, Scott. I thought about him. They did him and Cage. Brian Cage. Him and Brian Cage was partners at one time. Yep. That is something that you could go back to. They can make up and they can be a powerhouse tag team, kind of like Davey Boy Smith and who's the other one with Davey Boy Smith? Dynamite Kid.
Dynamite Kid, yeah.
They could be a team kind of like that. But you have to build a tag team division around them to help that thing out. But I mean, you do have the Lucha Brothers and you have the Young Bucks, which is going to be hard to beat those two tag teams. But there's people out there that you can.
But then once again, it comes back to inexperienced booking.
Exactly, I agree 100%.
Like I said, man. I listened to Jim Cornette earlier today, man. He was talking about the 8-man tag.
Right.
Obviously, he's not high on Luchasaurus. Okay, cool. I lost him. But he has no. They have no experienced bookers. So that goes back to basically now throwing whatever on the wall and seeing if it can stick. And it's not, you got a plethora of talent to build from, but you don't know which direction to go. So it hurts you in the long run. It really does. It really does hurt in the long run. So yeah. My partner here, I'm trying to see if I can get him back on here. Hold on one moment here, guys. So I can get him back on here real quick. But yeah, so Scott, yeah, you're right, man. Hobbs, he could be a force, man. Hobbs could be a force. If they use him right. Because Taz's stable is not nothing. It's nothing to it. That thing is about as useless as wet toilet paper. It really ain't doing nothing. And they're trying to build the FTW belt up. That ain't working. I mean, you just basically need better tag teams. You need to try to get more talent, or well, build up more talent, and you need to you know what, Scott? The slow build on TV, man. I don't think anybody's doing that anymore, Scott. I honestly don't think nobody's doing that anymore. Scott, it's at a point, you said a slow build, and matter of fact, hold on here, Scott. I'm gonna bring you in here real quick here, buddy. There you go, Scott. Just sent you something there. Yeah, nobody does a slow build no more, man. Nobody that the only reason nobody does it because of society today. Society today is an instant microwave. I need this now kind of society where nobody wants to wait anymore. Nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to try to
hot, man.
Oh, golly. Yeah, I can hear you, man. Welcome back. But I was answering Scott's question. He asked what happened to a slow build on TV. But yeah, Scott, what's going on, buddy? Glad you got the invite. Welcome back.
Yo,
but I was
got hot on me,
asking
bro.
He asked what happened to a slow build on TV.
I don't even know if you can hear me.
Yeah. Scott, what's going on, buddy? Glad you got the invite. Okay, I'm getting some of
man. I'm out to log out for a minute, bro.
He asked what happened to a slow build on TV.
I don't even know if you can hear me.
Yeah. Scott, what's going on, buddy? Glad you got the invite. Okay, hold on. Who's echo am I getting here?
Log out for a minute, bro. Damn, I don't even know if you can hear me.
Yeah. Scott,
we got a bad echo.
Okay, hold on. Yeah.
Log out for a minute, bro. You can hear me.
Yeah.
We got a bad echo.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. I think it's coming from Harry's end. Yeah.
We got a bad echo.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. I think it's coming from Harry's end. Yeah.
We got a bad echo.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. I think it's coming from Harry's end. Yeah.
We got a bad echo.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. I think it's coming from Harry's end. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Harry. Okay. Sorry about all that, y'all. I don't know what happened. Scott, I don't know what happened. We were having a bad echo there. I'm sorry about that, buddy.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry about that, Scott. But yeah, Americans have lost their patience. Americans have lost their patience, Michael. You are 100% right about that. All right, Scott. Yeah, Scott. Sorry about that, man. I don't know where that echo was coming from. That was a bad echo. But yeah, Americans have lost their patience and things. They want stuff instantly. Matter of fact, Jim Cornette said, talking about the 8-man tag. I was listening to a podcast. He said something that they did, talking about losing their patience. When TV went live, all 8 guys were already in the ring. Yeah, all 8 guys were already in the ring. No, and basically he compared that to WWE. Something they rarely do is not have wrestlers entrance. You might catch a wrestler midway in the entrance or catch them in the ring and their music is still playing or whatever the case may be, or their music might get cut or whatever, but they're going to have an entrance. But the only reason AEW did it because that was a high profile match and they wanted to have more time for that match. So you basically had the announcer was like, "Hey, Adam Cole, baby, hey, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, yeah, no, and Cornette said no hometown, no weights or nothing like that. It was just basically, hey, this is this person, that's that person, okay, ding, 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 let's get it. Yeah, which was I think a vital mistake. Because the match was absolute. Looking at it in retrospect, the match was an absolute cluster. Um, you had basically it just broke down. It just broke down to the point where you know all 8 guys were in the ring, and it just wasn't no. It wasn't coherent. Nobody had really any. It was just like they were just doing it on the fly. And then they had botched moves. The spike pile driver that the Bucks did, Christian, it was botched. Because he didn't jump far enough. He jumped a little short, and it was a mess, man. So they just hurry up and threw that out there so they can have more time for that match, which really wasn't that good. But yeah, but you got tons of talent, but nobody knows what to do with it. Once again, going back to the booking, the inexperience of the booking. Yes, you have agents who can put together a match and be like, okay, you're going against this guy, you're going against this guy. This is how you do this and work this way and work that way, and then you come to the finish or whatever the case may be. Okay, you got that, but you don't have anybody that can be like, okay, this guy versus this guy. That would be a good match. We can make something out of it for a long haul. Let's build this up for an ultimate goal at a pay-per-view or something or whatever. Or you could build this person versus this person who's initially trying to get to this person to get to that person for the title at some point. It makes no sense.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not echoing him because I'm in the car. I got you on the car speaker. Okay.
Okay. I think that's what it was. I think that's why you were echoing. You had us on the speaker.
No, y'all
You had
wasn't
us
on
on
the speaker,
Bluetooth.
man. No, I had turned the thing all the way down.
Okay,
So,
I don't know what's
yeah,
going on, but
I had turned the speaker off because that's probably what it probably was doing that at the beginning. So yeah, you probably was right.
So let me see what Scott says. Hold on. Answer me this for this.
Okay.
Sir. We have gotten so far away from old school that no one can fight the local guys on TV. Working two wrestlers or teams meeting for the first pay-per-view. You know what, Scott?
Right.
That is true. That is true.
And that's what I was talking to Chris about earlier. That they should pull somebody from wherever local area that they're at. They can pull somebody from these indie areas like APW, if they in that kind of area, or they Uprise Pro Wrestling. Pull some of these guys in, man, and have these guys. Somebody like CM Punk. He could have started off with somebody like a Tom Joyner from the local QT station or something like that, and had him wrestle against this guy, and then beat him, and then the next week he's wrestling against Jim Donaldson from Home Depot. He beat him. I mean, you don't tell these people that these people work at these places, but beat these type of people, and then next thing, and then build up to a Darby Allin, and then a Powerhouse Hobbs, and then he can have and then he can say, and then he can point to a guy like say Miro, and he could that's a feud that they could build up, him and Miro, and then he can later on down the road when he gets a little bit more polished, get himself back in a wrestling shape, then he can wrestle against somebody like Kenny Omega. Because right now you put him in there with Kenny Omega, it's not gonna look good. Like Chris was saying, it has to be a slow match because those two right now, I mean, Kenny Omega is so much farther along than what CM Punk is right now in his restart in professional wrestling.
Now, Michael answered Scott. He basically said, bear in mind, promotions have their own students who are better trained than the indie wrestlers. This is true. This is very true what Michael's saying.
Yeah.
You know, they have wrestlers now who are way better at, you know, being trained in their own particular schools, and they take the time with them to truly learn their craft. Whereas a lot of independent guys, you know, have other things going on where they truly can't focus to the craft. You know, you might have Johnny Jackson, you know, wanting to come to Uprise and get trained, but you know, he might miss out of a month, he might miss, you know, 8 or 9 days because he's working, you know.
Right.
So that's time out that he's missing to better himself as a wrestler. Whereas
Right.
these wrestlers going to like NXT or the Rhodes Wrestling School, you know, stuff like that, they've sold out. They're like, look, this is all or nothing. I got to put myself at 1,000% into this. You know what I'm saying? I can't have no outside distractions when you're on that level. So that's going to be your main focus, and you're going to dedicate yourself to that. You know, so I get what Michael's saying on that one statement.
Right.
And yeah, Michael, you are right. They didn't have their own schools and circuit days. You basically got trained by an old school wrestler that hardly nobody knew about, but you know, he was a talent, and they basically beat the crap out of you and gave you just enough to hold your own. And then next thing you know, you on somebody's TV getting the crap beat out you again. And you go across the nation doing this day in, day out for $100-200 or whatever the case may be. And while you're on the road, you're learning also. You know, so yeah, I mean, different time, different era. I get it, but it is what it is. But like I said, it all goes back to this booking, Harry. You need somebody that knows what they're doing, that can basically pair up two good talents, male or female, run a good storyline, you know, and come to an ultimate conclusion. But nobody knows how to do that.
But that's true. And so, you know, people saying that they're talking to Jim Cornette. I have no idea. I've heard that Tony Khan likes Jim Cornette a lot, and him and Tony Khan has had discussions. Jim Cornette, I think if Jim Cornette came in, he will have to have a lot of control. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I would like to see that happen, man, because you know, they have no storyline, and that's one thing Conan was talking about last night. Conan and Disco Inferno was talking about, you know, they have no storylines. And Conan, he's part of AEW, and that's one thing I will give them as far as you know, you have Jim Ross out there doing a podcast, you got Tony Schiavone out there doing a podcast, Arn Anderson doing a podcast. Tony Khan have gave these guys freedom where they can get out there and talk, and a lot of them have been talking bad about AEW. They still, you know, they give their straight up opinion, but when you have you know, when I look at the level of quality of, you know, guys who has been in the business for a long time, I'm looking at AEW. Like, why don't you lean on these people? They have to have some kind of knowledge of how to get a storyline going, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. I mean, they're
it's like saying,
I don't know how much control Tony Khan actually has as a final yay or nay, like Vince would.
Yeah,
Vince would listen to everybody's ideas,
right,
versus what he has in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if your idea somewhat matches up, I would say, with his idea that he has in mind, more than likely he's going to go with your idea.
Right.
But if nobody's idea matches up what he has in mind, he's going to kill all of it and just go with his idea.
That's true.
I wonder if Tony Khan has that much stroke versus just be like, oh, Harry, that's a great idea. I know you've been in the business for about 20 or 30 something years. That's a great idea. Yeah, let's go with that. And knowing, you know, when it's on TV, the fans see your idea and be like, this is garbage. But in your mind and the way you sold it, it sounds great.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But that brings me to a question. I mean, does Tony Khan is he owning this outright, or his father? How much does his father? How much stake? That I know he used his father's money. Okay.
Oh,
how much stake does his father have in this, as far as the as far as creative go, and how much of that he's given control to the board or the. Oh my gosh, man! How much control has he given to the wrestlers, man? That he that's in this company with him. That Tony doesn't really have any much say as far as we're doing this and doing that and paying these people. So how much?
Michael just said something. He said big names come with big egos. Balancing ego with storyline is very difficult. I.e. the NWO.
That's true. That's 100% true. And true. That's Tony Khan, man. He needs to take him and his father. They need to get together and say, okay. I mean, of course, they already put together these contracts. And this might be why. This might be the reason that they won't sign anybody else right now. I mean, because you got people that's out of WWE that's don't have a contract right now, basically begging AEW for a contract. And Tony Khan won't talk to them. I mean, great talent out there. He won't skip people. I mean, you could sit there and say, okay, he has a lot of talent.
Hold on 1 second, I'll be right back.
Need these people. All right, man. We can sit there and we can say, okay, he doesn't really need these people because he has a lot of talent. But I mean, I don't think he wants to because that reputation is already out there. That you can go there and you can have a lot more freedom to do what you want to do. Tony Khan is he's giving these contracts to where these wrestlers have a say in their little short storylines that they have. They have a say in what they want to do and who they want to wrestle. And so, I mean, that kind of stuff, man, is just, I'm just wondering how much control have he given to his company where he like I say, he just doesn't have too much of a say, or these people are going to play out their contracts in court. And that's pretty much what Hogan and people like that threatened to do when he was in WCW. So if you got that kind of stuff going on, man, it's not good. It's not good at all. Because, like I say, these wrestlers that came in and signed these deals can say, "Oh no, wait a minute, I got this contract over you, and if you don't honor it, I can take you to court." I mean, so it's flat crazy, man. It's flat crazy because these guys are telling you flat out, who they're gonna go and who they're not gonna put over. Because there's a lot of people in AEW right now that should be put over and that's not getting put over. And when I look at Sammy Guevara against Miro, I don't think Miro had any control. How long Miro's been in AEW?
I don't think Miro's been in even a year yet. I don't think. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
He might be coming up a year.
If he had any control, I think Miro. I tell you the truth. I think Miro released his title. I think he, pretty much gave up his title so he can take some time off. Sammy Guevara. I don't think Sammy Guevara. That's basically what I'm thinking. Because, like I say, some of these guys, want to take some time off, or they don't want to wrestle as much. So they go ahead and give up their title. Because I just don't see him giving up that title to Sammy Guevara.
Michael also said Tony runs AEW, but gives wrestlers a lot of influence, and his dad just outright prefers football.
Oh, I know his dad prefers football. So I'm just, Tony, he's running this thing, man. But I mean, it's how much influence.
But like I said, man, in wrestling, I'm just be straight up, man. If you are a promoter or owner of a promotion or whatever, a CEO, whatever, you have to be an asshole.
Yeah, That's right.
You have
That's
to
right.
be. It ain't no ifs, ands, and
Nope.
buts about it. You
That's
got
right.
to be
That's
like,
right.
look, this is where I stand. Either you like it or you don't like it. And if you like
Yes.
it, get with the program. If you don't like it, there's the door. Get the hell out.
Right. Right.
You know?
Think about what is his name? I like Crockett. Crockett didn't have. I mean, he had a few relationships with some of the wrestlers, but for the most part, no.
Yeah, you can't be buddy, chummy. I mean, when you on a level like
Right.
this, and you got them egos for jokers that's been around for years, and you know, when you get an ego and you've been around and you in a public spotlight and people been clamoring for you, that gets to you, man. That changes your way of thinking about yourself, and you feel some kind of way about yourself. So your ego has to be way bigger than theirs, and you have to be that asshole to bring them down.
Yeah,
because
like that guy from Turbo. Everybody saying, you know, this guy's he's a butthole, man. But guy, he's doing the right thing, man. You cannot let wrestlers come in and take over your, you can't let the, wrestlers come in and take over your business, man. You just can't.
Yeah, it's okay. It's the old saying Jim Ross always says, you can't let the inmates run the asylum.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to use, man. Who's
Jim Ross?
Somebody had used that. Yeah, Jim Ross had used that, but it's another guy who had used it in professional sports. The guy who one of the guys that owned, I think the Houston Rockets owner said the same thing, and people went off on that, man. They got mad and said, he's calling these people slaves or whatever. But he's exactly right. You cannot let the inmates run the asylum. It just, if you do, you get something like what we got now. You have a talented company that's basically just running matches. I mean, you might as well say, I mean, straight up, man. If you have somebody like what's that organization we went to, like Koloff, Neil Koloff's organization, and say APW,
PWF,
yeah, PWF, and say APW, they run a card together. Say they run a card together, and AEW shows up in Greenville, and then I have this other company running a show in Greenville. They got a decent card, man. I'm thinking maybe I should go see them because I know I'm gonna see basically a wrestling show instead of going there, and I'm gonna see a TV show that's not going anywhere. So it's the same old thing that's over and over and over again. I don't want to see that, man. It's like it's crazy. Even though I enjoy AEW, I enjoy AEW, but I want to see something. I want to see a culmination. I want to see a finish I want to see a finished product when it boils down to it. I want to see, man. We used to sit around and wait for months and months and months before when somebody getting a title shot, battling for a title, and they finally win it, man. It was such jubilation, and people, it gets people over, and it actually got the promotion over more too. And it just, that's the type of thing that I want to see from AEW, man. And they have the talent to do that. And they have all they have all of them in the world, man, right now to do it. But man, they falling off
because they got the talent, man. But once again, backstage, you got too many chefs in the kitchen, man.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about that, Mr. Christopher Burton. But
yeah, man, I'm gonna have to get off here, man. But
I am too, man. I'm about to pick up these kids, but we appreciate everybody tuning in. And if you
matter of fact, let's do part 2 tonight.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. But before we leave off here right now, I'm gonna say credit to AEW. They do have they got WWE shook. Even though they've lost some viewers and the Rampage have been going down a little bit. Well, pretty much it don't went that more than half. So 25. They lost 25% of the viewership in the last 4 weeks. But they got WWE shook. So all credit to them. But man, where do they go from here? And they need some experience, like Chris said. They need some experienced bookers. They need some people in there, man, that's gonna take them to the next level. So
somebody to keep these egos in check. and somebody
No
keep
doubt.
these egos in check. They need that too. But yeah, we'll do part 2 tonight. Scott, I'm sorry
All right,
that
man.
we tried to get you on, and we had some technical difficulties. I'm sorry about that, brother. Hopefully, if you're
We'll get him on
available,
tonight.
we'll get you on tonight if you're available. And Michael, hey,
All right.
well, no, Michael, he's a be at the fair. Speaking of the fair, hey, if you're in Spartanburg area, they got the Spartanburg Fair going on all this week. AEW, APW will be there tonight. American Pro Wrestling, they'll be there tonight. Go check them out. And yeah, so check them out if you don't have nothing going on. But yeah, we'll be doing part 2 tonight. And Scott, like I said, if you're available, man, we'll bring you on tonight, and hopefully no technical issues and everything, and we can finish this conversation.
Oh, definitely. All right, Chris. Peace.
All right. So for my man, Harry Bernard Taylor, I'm Christopher Burton, the People's Podcaster, and we'll see you for part 2 tonight. Peace.